Hello, my friends. I probably should have been facing the sun, but I couldn't see that way. I just want to share with you today something that the Lord revealed to me on yesterday, and it has filled my spirit so much. And I'm just delighted that the Lord cares enough about me to reveal things to me, to let me know where I need to change, what I need to do, how I need to move. On a daily basis, He does this. And I was thinking earlier today that oftentimes when we struggle with trusting the Lord, is because we don't have an intimacy with Him. You don't begin to trust your spouse or partner or friends or anything just off of you meeting them. You might not begin with mistrust, but the trust comes as you build relationship, as you begin to see the character and their integrity and just who they are. Then trust builds. So if you'll get yourself connected with God and get a relationship with Him, meet Him and come to know Him, then you will come to trust Him. It's inevitable. But the revelation the Lord gave me was about Mount Pisgah. In Deuteronomy, the 34th chapter, in the first verse, it says, "And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, and the Lord showed him all the land." So this is Moses at the top of a mountain in the in-between place. The wilderness and the tribulation was behind him. Way behind him was the bondage and the slavery in Egypt. And he had not yet got to the promised land. And unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately because that's the spin that I always had on it. And I've always heard about Mount Pisgah. But the Lord revealed something to me about that and how it was related to my life and my current circumstances. And it made me so joyous in my soul. So Mount Pisgah is the in-between. And God was showing Moses, see what I said to you is true. And He showed him from the elevated place, from a high vantage point. Look at what I promised. I keep my promises, because although Moses wasn't going into the promised land, and although those that were living in slavery in Egypt were not going, that was their doing, the reason they weren't going. But I've often thought, 40 years, God, and he only gets to see it. But I thought about it this way. Moses had the presence of God up there with him. God took care of him in that moment on that mountain. And so oftentimes we get so excited about the promise that God has made for us that we forget the one who keeps the promise. We forget the promise keeper. So it wasn't any unfortunate situation for Moses. He saw what God had promised, but he was with the promise keeper. How beautiful is that? And the Israelites who were back in the wilderness complaining and moaning and still with that mentality of slavery, they didn't get to go over, but the new generation, they got to see the promised land, because the promise was to Israel, the nation of Israel, not just to those individual people. So, and God kept His promise to the nation of Israel, and He keeps His promises. And He has shown me, because that's where I'm at. I'm at that in-between place. I'm at that high place. And I don't mean it in any way you might misconstrue it. I'm saying that God has given me a vantage point, and He has let me see the promises that He has made to me. And He's given me the visions for it before, but I'm seeing it differently now. I know that I'm here, that I am literally here, and all of that is behind me. And I'm so thankful to God about it. Let me tell you something. When God delivers you out of something, as He delivered the Israelites out of Egypt, you must do the work. They were delivered. That was a done deal. They had crossed the Red Sea. Pharaoh's army was swallowed up. That was done. But their mindset, they hadn't been transformed in their mind. They hadn't had a clean heart created in them. They hadn't begun to trust in the Lord who delivered them. Don't make that mistake when the Lord delivers you out of something. Once that main shackle is broken, there are still, I think of it as links, but also roots. Things are deep-rooted in your system, in your nervous system, in your mentality, in your train of thought, in the way you move throughout the world. But when God breaks that chain, I'm telling you, it's important for you to learn. You must be transformed. You must be transformed in your mind in order to live where God is taking you. You can't go into Canaan with the mentality of a slave. And the Lord is doing so many great things in my life. And I believe that there are others on who might be watching this video, and God has got you in a place. You know that you're no longer bound by Pharaoh. You know that you're no longer in the wilderness. You know what? I got on my Arid Oasis shirt that Williams made for me. This is my umbrella company, Arid Oasis. And the name came from a name that my son had his business in. Anyway, this is a dry place, arid is, but the oasis is nourishment in the dry place. So you've come out of that dry place, and God provided for you within that dry place, with an oasis, with manna. And he never left you alone, and he guided you the whole way. But now he has elevated you in your spirit. He has elevated you in your mind, and he has elevated you on so many levels. And he's showing you the promises right there. All you got to do, my friend, is walk into it. I just thank God for it. Even on today, I had a dream. And I woke up from the dream saying grace out loud because I was sitting before a table. I'm not going to give all the details. I don't feel clear to do that yet. I woke up saying grace, and that just led me into praise. And there was so much joy in that dream. And then I said, I'm not going to attend to any messages, emails, or anything. The only messages I'll check before I get myself all the way together is messages from my daughters. And so I opened up the messages from them in our little group. And my daughter, Tyler Joy, Joy, was talking about joy and how God had revealed to her that the shift had already happened and it is here. The things God has promised us is here. So look at God, how he just, and then Sunday, the church that I went to, Pastor Corey, he spoke on joy. And that's what I feel. This isn't, and I'm telling you, if you knew what was really going on in my life, you would know this is joy and not happiness, because there's not a lot of things happening right now in my life to be happy about, but the joy of the Lord is in my spirit. And I want you to receive the joy of the Lord over your life. If you are at the Mount Pisgah, if you are still in the wilderness, no, God will take you. He will show you what he has promised you, and he will carry you into the promised land. Don't curse the middle place. This is a place of revelation. This is a place of preview. On Mount Pisgah, God said, look, this is where I'm taking you. This is the promise. This is your future. Pisgah is where God lets you see what's coming before you actually step on into it. And my friend, I want you, if you're in that in-between, and you know God has changed who you are and where you've been and how you've moved and lived, but you're not yet all the way into the promised land, do not be discouraged. Trust in God, my friend. Continue to trust in God. You're no longer struggling, even if it feels like it. The struggle is over. That's what God wants me to tell you today. The struggle's over, but you're not quite settled. While they were at the base of the mountain, they weren't in the promised land yet, but they were no longer in the desert, in the wilderness, struggling. They were at the mountain. They were at the base of the mountain, at the place where they would cross over into the next chapter, where their inheritance was revealed, where God would restore the joy, where there would be battles, there would be trials. But what God said he would do, he did, and he does today, my friend. Please be encouraged. I'm going to have to divide this, really, the revelation, up into several messages because it's so meaty. If God has given you glimpses, dreams, confirmations, if things that used to unsettle you and break you down don't stick anymore. If God has been giving you glimpses, if he's been giving you dreams, if he has been giving you confirmation, if he has been giving you word, consider this yet another word. Everything take before the Lord, of course, and try the Spirit by the Spirit. But if God has been showing you those things, and the things that used to move you and unsettle you and shake you, they no longer have that power over you, my friend. You are at that middle place. Be encouraged. Let God restore your joy. For the promise has been kept, and the promise keeper is ever with you, my friend. Trust him, believe him, rejoice in him. And when I say that those things won't stick, that's one sign that you know you're no longer in the wilderness. I'll just give you 2 examples. For today, it's right after waking up from that dream, getting that message from Tyler Joy about joy, and me rejoicing in the Lord, because I'm no longer in the struggle. I'm not in the settled place, but I'm no longer in the struggle. And I'm in a place of clarity where I can see where God is taking me and what he has for me. And I don't even see it all. I can see the panoramic view of where God is taking me. And if that's where you are, my friend, stand fast, because things will come to knock you off your square, to get your focus. I was telling my daughter the other day, she was laughing at me. She says it was military language, but sometimes I get cloudy in my mind and I feel like I'm not firing on all cylinders. And know that that is an attack from the enemy also. But things don't stick like they used to. People not celebrating me. And don't take that for ego. See that for what I'm saying. Truly, when I see God doing things in other people's lives, I am joyous. Not envious at all. Really glad. For one thing, it excites me because I know that God is still doing that, and he can do it for them. He can do it for me. I have found that I know so many people who are close to me, who are in my circle, so to speak, who are not joyous for me. That used to tear me down. I would spend time trying to get in their good graces and trying to make them happy with me. But God has changed that. My heart is concerned for them, that whatever trauma, whatever they've experienced, that their heart can't be happy for people that they know and that they love. But I no longer feel like I have to bow to that, to their definition of me and where they think I should be. God is the one who appoints and anoints, and he uses his earthly vessels, but God is the one. And so it doesn't matter who doesn't agree with how God is working in your life, how God is elevating you, how God is moving you and expanding your territory, enlarging your territory. None of that matters. If nobody rooted for you, it doesn't matter. Because the one who appoints you, the one who elevates you, the one who is your God, your Father, your King, you are his child, you're a king's kid. If God be for me, who can be against me? That's the mindset. So that's one thing that no longer. And today, as I woke up and I was in that spirit of joy, immediately after I saw Tyler's messages, I got 2 messages. Boom, boom. I didn't look for them. I just got word about some bad things happening. And in the past, that would have sullied my soul. It just rolled off me like water off a duck's back. I didn't care about it. That's what is being said. That's what it might look like right now. But God has already shown me. And I will not take down, and I will not lose my joy because of circumstances, because I am not under the circumstances. God has elevated me, and I trust him, and I trust his promise. More importantly, I know, and I love the promise keeper. My friend, there's so much more I want to share with you on this. I'm putting together a few videos or messages because it was such a huge revelation that the Lord gave me. I feel like I should say this one last thing. God has dealt with me also about preparing for where he's taking you. I don't want to give too many details, but there was a situation. I knew God had made the provision and had aligned certain things for me, but there were smaller things that had not worked out for me to be able to do what it was that he had for me to do. But I heard in my spirit, prepare for it. I was like, God, I don't see the money. God, I don't see having this situation with my car, this and this. I could, a whole bunch of things. But the Holy Spirit said, prepare for it. Because what God has called you to, he will complete. God does not do incomplete work. If he's told you to be somewhere, do you think he's not going to provide for you to get there? So I didn't see the way, didn't see the finances. But what I did do was get my clothes ready, get my suitcase ready if needed. I did all the things as if everything was already lined up. And do you know it lined up? It lined up. Preparation is so important. If you trust God to take you where he said he's going to take you, then act like it and prepare yourself. Be where you need to be. Do what you need to do. Move in a manner that says you are already living the life that God has promised you. I hope that this offers you encouragement, my friend. I am so excited to hear what God is doing in your lives, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to testify to you all about what he's done in mine. We fight from victory, not for it. And remember, not just the promise, but the promise keeper. I love you all. Ciao.